Yes, I've told,
Okay,
yes.
these two?
Uh-huh.
And then that one just can't because it's. or
It's
this
really
one-
linked to that one.
Yeah, because, okay, yeah,
Yep.
yeah, okay.
Sounds good.
Everybody gets quiet all of a sudden.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay. Longest minute ever. All right, I have 5:45. I will call the meeting to order. If everyone would stand for the moment of silence and the pledge. Face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Recorder, if you call the roll, please.
Chair Laura Harrison,
Present.
Vice Chair Jeremy Burnett,
Here.
Michelle Childs,
Here.
Keith Acton,
Present.
Deborah Thomas.
Present. We do have a quorum. I would like to welcome everyone to our business meeting for October 6th. This is our only meeting this month as a reminder to the public and everyone out there due to fall break. Dr. Horrell, will you lead us through our agenda?
I certainly will. The first item on the agenda is the opportunity for public comment.
Would anyone from the public like to speak? Hearing none, next item.
Next is our reports section. Ms. Childs has again agreed that we move the legislative liaison update. We're also going to move that permanently on the agenda since we do so many recognitions. But we're going to go straight to the superintendent's report, and we're going to start with a recognition of a group of wonderful students that we're really proud of that have done something extraordinary, and those are the kind of students we like to honor. So I'm going to adjust the stream here so we can all move on down and recognize them. So when we set out to create Lakeland Preparatory School, one of our goals is that we would create a kind of environment and a situation and have the types of teachers and coaches, and we knew we would have the kind of students that would excel in not only academics but also athletics and the arts. And we're really, really excited to honor this group of students who have excelled athletically in the sport of tennis. And it's crazy to me that just a few years ago, nobody across the state had ever heard of Lakeland Prep, and now it just seems like every year we've got groups that are showing up at these things, and everybody's saying, where did these students come from? But students, we want to congratulate you on qualifying for the state tennis tournament and for going there and representing Lakeland school system so well. And we had 4 students that qualified and 3 that actually participated in the state tournament, and as well as the coaches. And it's obviously a big deal. I personally know how much work it takes to put into that because I tried and failed to make the tennis team at Germantown High School 3 times, and I can tell you that it takes I really did. Yeah, I missed it by one guy. I won't say the name of the guy that beat me my junior year, but I still think about it. So I wish I had a memory like you guys that you went to the state tournament. So we're going to call you up here, and what we'd like you to do is we're going to take a picture with me and the board and your certificate. And if you've got family members here, we also want to invite your family members to come on up. So we're going to start with Simmer Chaudhry. If you want to come on up here and give him a round of applause. Congratulations. You want to hold that up, and you're going to be here in the middle. Family, if you want to come up, we're going to post all these pictures like we always do at Facebook. Let's all kind of gather and hold. Ms. Martin, yeah. Collapse into them.
Yes. We got it
A nice tight pick here. About in. I got it. Great. All right. Congratulations. All right, and the next 3 qualified and then went and competed at the state tournament, and we're grateful to you, as we said, for representing us there. We're going to start with I'm just going to mention it. She was just recognized today for making the over 30 club on the ACT. That's Kate Sheridan. Come on up. Come on up. All right, the next individual we want to recognize, also qualified, a multi-sport athlete, as so many of our folks are, outstanding scholar as well, Madison Fleming. Come on up, Madison. This student came in and tried to figure out why it was so quiet. It's because we started the stream early, so we didn't tell y'all, and everybody gets real quiet. But we're very proud of your accomplishments. Jenna Cowell, come on up. Thanks for... Another multi-sport athlete, I should have said. And we also, for our coaches in Lakeland School System, as I've said many times, we do pins for the coaches. And this is a pin in recognition of state achievement. And we want to recognize the two coaches that are here with us, Melanie Fleming and Ben Rollins. So congratulations. Y'all want to come up? Rollins, thank you. Come on up. We'll get y'all. And then y'all wait after we take this picture, and we're going to get everybody up here. All right, and the students, y'all stay, hold up. The students, if y'all come up, we're going to get one with your coaches up here in the whole group. All right. And we want to thank Ms. Martin for being here. Thank you. And students and parents, and Mr. Entman, thank you for coming to support your students. Students and parents that is clear, you're certainly welcome to stay, but we don't expect you to. If you need to stay to get some hours or something, you can do that. But if you want to leave, it won't be rude. It will be totally understandable. So we appreciate y'all. Thank you so much.
Right?
Don't we have an EAP? Employee Assistance Program?
Yeah.
Ted, do we need to sign you up for an EAP to get some counseling about tennis?
He should totally be a
We have guidance counselors.
I've come a long way. I didn't say the guy's name. But I remember it. I don't think it was particularly close, actually. Everybody good? Yep. All right. Okay.
right,
Are y'all ready to move on?
Yes.
All right. And the next thing I'd like to do in my report is FY26 budget update. We once again have our Chief Financial Officer, Tristan Gately-Sweat. He's going to present just a few things, but board, again, let me say this is really at your direction. If there's financial information that you'd like to see as part of this report, we added some information that Mr. Burnett had requested to see visually presented, and we're going to allow Mr. Gately-Sweat to do that, present that now. So I think you can go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Horrell. Thank you, board. This is the, again, fiscal year 2026 budget update, October version. I'll update a few slides that you'll see throughout the year, but if you want to see something different, you want to see something, one time on a continual basis, just let me know, and we'll try to put together something that will help you have some more information. So this is the same graphic as last month, but you'll see a little bit more spending. So this is the percent spent for each general fund program, and this is through August of this fiscal year. You have a few things that are front-loaded, specifically related to the Board of Education, where insurance is paid. Our insurance premiums are paid for the entire year, so that's obviously a big chunk of the budget in that particular function. Our maintenance is trending a little high, and so we're kind of looking at that. Technology is another where a lot of our contracts are front-loaded. And the other bonus pay function at 34%, that's a function of the one-time teacher bonus that the state of Tennessee paid, but it obviously had to go on Lakeland School System's books, so that's why you see a significant percent spent there. Transportation only at 1%. That's because we only had like one bill at the time of this report. That's obviously going to track up, and we're kind of actively monitoring that one just as costs continue to escalate in that area. All right, this is the budget salary expense review. So what this chart specifically shows, and I'm going to jump one ahead to show you the key. I couldn't fit them all on one and make it readable. But here's the key to show you what categories I included, the budgeted wages in those categories. That's wages and benefits, salary and benefits. And then the groups, just kind of like, what does extracurriculars actually mean? What does instruction actually mean based on some more common terminology there? So that's the key, but here's the chart. It just shows, of the general fund, what do we spend on instruction personnel? What do we spend on instructional support personnel? So you see the lion's share is instruction, $15.7 million, over 2/3 of the general fund budget as it relates to personnel. Extracurriculars at $475,000. School administration, your principals, assistant principals, and school level folks at $2.1 million. Operations and maintenance at just under $1 million. Office administration, so I consider these to be back office folks. So your office administration is going to be the board, superintendent, finance, HR, not directly involved in the instruction of students, but still obviously in a support role for the school system. All right. Any questions about that one? I know that one has a lot kind of baked in.
Will you go back to, for the board's benefit, just go in the public, go back to school admin. I do want to point out that that's the nurses, SROs, not only the administrators, but also the secretaries that are involved in that as well.
Yes, sir. We consider those folks they're based in the schools, in the school building specifically.
But not doing direct
directly.
instruction, right. Yep.
Yes, sir. And if we want to see further breakdowns of any of these, I can happily, put together something that kind of breaks out any of these categories more specifically. All right. And that's all I got for the budget update today, unless, of course, there are any questions or concerns.
I'll just comment, I appreciate the update and I appreciate the way it's laid out. It makes it very easy to understand kind of where we are for the year and tracks it, tells us, for as far as how far we into our fiscal year and being able to know which funds are tracking well and which ones are certainly ones we need to keep our eye on. So I appreciate the way you presented this and makes it easier for us to understand in a snapshot basis.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for that feedback.
Go ahead, Ms. Burnett.
Yes, sir.
What Chair Harrison said, thank you.
Of course. And obviously I'm tracking the funds kind of on a daily basis. So if you ever want like a more, like I stand by this as this book, August is closed, right? Like there's no more surprises for August. There's not like, oh, we, forgot to bill you or something like that, right? So that's why the lag in time, I know that sometimes having a month and a half delay on information can be like, okay, but where are we now? I can always provide a more, relevant, recent snapshot. It may not be as pretty and clean as crisp as, having a little bit of time to put something together, but I can always give you an update, like where are we as of today on this, if it's something that you're particularly interested in or you're tracking kind of along the way.
Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you so much.
Of course. I'll be around for the budget amendments if there's any.
All right.
Dr. Horowitz.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Gately-Sweat. I'll also note that the monthly financial summary is also attached, but I'm going to swing back to the superintendent's report and just share a few things with you that are of note. Get back to my notes here. Wanted to give a just quick enrollment update. This is the time of year where we're pretty much settled in, I think, to historically of what the enrollment numbers are going to look like. And the most recent that we're reporting at Lakeland Elementary is 903 students there at Lakeland Elementary. That does not include, as we always note, that does not include any preschool students. And then at Lakeland Prep, as we're fully built out, we have 1,680 students that are enrolled at Lakeland Prep. So the Lakeland Prep numbers were pretty much, we were 14 under the projection, which is really pretty close for a school with that many grade levels. And I will note that we were 49 under projection at Lakeland Elementary School. The vast majority of that was kindergarten, and we've noted that our kindergarten kind of classes or cohorts are kind of trending down a little bit from where they peaked. There are a lot of complicated factors of that. We think it has to do with housing stock. The birth cohort nationwide is lower, but it is something to keep an eye on. Certainly. We did make some staffing adjustments to adjust the budget accordingly for that, so it's something that we noted in real time, but certainly wanted to share that with everybody and with the public. Did want to give an update. This is fairly minor, but just something to note publicly. We are going to get some communication out in terms of some a la carte pricing changes in the cafeteria. So the basic price for meals that the board approved is unchanged and that the board approves. But there are some just inflationary prices going up on some food products. So juice is going up 20 cents. Cookies are going up 25 cents. dip is going up 10 cents. So just making the public aware of that. Again, those are the a la carte items that students will add on top of their regular meal. Had a number of exciting instructional things going on lately. We've had some math walks that Dr. DeLoso and her instructional team of instructional directors have been leading along with the school-based administrators. They're working with the Southwest Corps, and we want to thank the Southwest Corps for their support in that area. We had a writing workshop recently at Lakeland Elementary School to try to improve and strengthen our writing practices and the teaching writing practices. That was very well received and also coordinated by the school with the Department of Instruction. Had a number of exciting community events lately, the International Family Night. I just want to note there our EL teachers, in particular Allison Garland, who has really spearheaded that. You can't thank anybody without them saying yes, but Allison Garland, because she really did. She did that much to make it happen. But the main thing that is just unbelievable when you see it is the parent and community participation and the way folks come together to celebrate and build each other up and learn more about each other. So it's just really terrific, and lots of great fine arts performing groups. Want to publicly thank the Lakeland Chamber of Commerce for their recent Lions on the Links golf tournament, and the funds raised for that go to benefit school programs and Lakeland school system. And to support that effort, representatives from both the Lakeland Elementary PTA and the Lakeland Prep PTO are heavily involved in making that happen. So we're certainly grateful for their support as well. Had a number of district office and school level staff that have been attending a number of conferences and professional development and bringing that information back. It is almost impossible to, in the scope of a report like this, note all the amazing things that our students are doing. We tend to recognize the ones that are recognized at the state level or have achieved state things, but I would invite anybody to go to the Lakeland School System Facebook page and the individual school system Facebook pages because they really lay out just the incredible things our students are doing and being recognized. Again, that was the vision of the board, and the goal of the community is to have students that excel in these areas where students have the opportunity to bring honor to themselves, and we're seeing that just throughout. Want to congratulate everybody on an awesome homecoming at Lakeland Prep. I will note, speaking of kind of vision for things, it was exciting to see the vision play out for a Lakeland-Arlington football game. If you told me we were going to host it for homecoming, I would have said don't do that, but nobody asked me, so they did it anyway. And it was an awesome night. It was really a terrific night, I think, in the history of Lakeland. We sold 1,875 tickets. The next highest sales was 1,026. So it was definitely our biggest gate, and I think everybody acknowledges I built the bleachers just the right size. It was just perfect. There was we'll see. I don't know. Not everybody had a seat maybe, but it was a great night and very, very comfortable, and the team played excellent. Congratulations to the football team on a win over Ridgeway. But beyond that, we've got soccer that's continuing to play. We've got volleyball that's about to move into the postseason, and just all kinds of exciting things happening in a multitude of sports. Had state qualifiers, and I shouldn't have started. Now I'm going to mess it up. Cross country, middle school cross country, I know for sure, and high school as well, I think.
They're still going.
They're still going.
They did win
That's
the
what I
meets
thought.
last week, though.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to stop now.
I will add to your report, I did read on a Facebook post somewhere that I think the football team maybe made the playoffs after beating Ridgeway.
I think that may be
they
right.
actually made the playoffs for the first time ever in school history.
That would be correct. Yeah, that would be correct.
So I think I read that on a post somewhere. So it's hard to keep up with
It's hard
it all.
to keep. The band got
Yes.
second place in a big competition. It's just unbelievable. The LES Booster-thon happened last week, and we always thank the PTA for that. What a great fundraiser, and it was a beautiful, beautiful day that is. So lots of exciting things going on. So we just appreciate everybody's support in the community so much. With the financial summary being attached, and it's already been presented visually, that concludes my report, unless there are any questions.
Are there any questions for Dr. Horrell? Hearing none, next item.
Next item is the legislative liaison update. Ms. Child so graciously allowed me to push back.
Yeah, so we're not in, the General Assembly is not convened, we're not in session, so I do not have a report other than just to say that the 4 resolutions that our board voted on were submitted timely to TSBA, and so they have those that will be voted on by the delegate assembly at TSBA.
I'll just add something that I had forwarded communication on from TSBA about our resolutions to the board. So just, they sent it to me, so I made sure to forward it on to everyone else.
Yeah, if, I do have it printed out if anyone has questions about what, I mean, it was all sent to y'all as well about their comments on it.
All right, any questions? Hearing none, next item.
Next item is the approval of the agenda.
Is there a motion to get this item on the floor?
So moved.
We have a motion. I'll make the second. I would like to amend or move items 2 and 5 from the discussion action to the consent agenda. So I'll make a motion to move those to the consent agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any objection to moving 2 and 5? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We now are on the amended agenda.
I would like to make a motion.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to move on the consent agenda number 4 to the discussion action.
All right, so that would be would that make it number 1, 2, 4? Would that make it number 4?
I think so.
Okay, just making sure I have it right.
Can I make one note of
Yes.
parliamentary procedure? There's actually not a vote required for that. If any one member wants
Okay.
something removed from the consent agenda,
Consent agenda.
that can happen.
All right, so number 4 is moved to the moved to the discussion. I'm going to say it wrong. Number 4 from the consent agenda is moved to the discussion action item number 4. Any other items anybody would like to remove from the consent agenda or move to the consent agenda? All right, hearing none, all in favor of approving the amended agenda, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next item.
Next item is the consent agenda, and I'll note the consent agenda now includes the 2 additional items, approval of update to policy 5.403 and approval of LSS inactive student cafeteria uncollectible debt.
And there are 6 items, right? Just for clarity?
3, 4, that's correct.
Okay. All in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next item.
Next item, we move into the discussion action items. The first item on the agenda is policy 4.303. This is a new policy, athletic activity letters, brought by Ms. Childs.
Is there a motion to get this item on the floor?
So moved.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Dr. Hoare or Ms. Childs? I'll let either one of y'all.
I'm going to let Ms. Childs introduce this.
Okay, yeah, so I just wanted to introduce this athletic activity letters for consistency across the different sports teams, and I'll get more into what that would qualify for. I feel like with the school system, we did an amazing job rolling out the banners, and it was very uniform, and but with the letters, it's been not so uniform. So I just wanted to bring forward the policy that when students are in a letter, that we'd have a policy behind it so they could receive the letter or the chevron.
Any discussion on this item?
Well, I did want to make, I guess, an amendment. I don't know.
Okay, yeah. You want to amend the policy?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do want to just clarify, instead of it saying an approved school-sponsored sport or activity, that it would be more specific, so it's not so vague, that it would include school-sponsored activities that can be substituted for a PE credit, and that if there were any other, those would be the mandatory ones that would be included in this policy, but if there were other, but it could be optional if other, like fine arts programs wanted to do this as well, that would be optional.
So the amendment is to say to earn a varsity letter in a school-sponsored sport or activity, what's the next sentence?
That can be substituted for a PE credit.
That can be substituted for a PE credit, comma, a high school student must meet the following requirements. Everybody got that? All right.
So that would basically include like all the sports and like marching band and cheer that you see with banners up. That would include those, just for clarity's sake.
Okay, so that's a motion to amend. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Oh, I'm sorry. Any discussion?
Just
Jumped
one
that part.
question for
Yes.
Dr. Earl. Dr. Earl, does that give you any pause, or is there anything that,
About the amendment?
about Ms. Child's proposed amendment?
I think ideally they'd be listed out because the way I read the policy and therefore the amendment is that this policy is mandating that these groups purchase and distribute letters and chevrons. And I think ideally, in the interest of clarity, I don't know. I don't know exactly which activities they are. I think it's a certain number of hours that they have to meet. So, for example, I think maybe bowling doesn't meet that, or certain ones do.
I believe it's a TSSAA sport, and so I think it does.
So therefore, it can be substituted?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, well, I'm just, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. I don't.
Yeah.
It certainly is something that could be found out, though. And if that's the will of the board, that's who would be enforceable under this policy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any more discussion?
On the amendment.
Huh?
On the
On the amendment, I'm sorry, on the amendment, yes.
So sorry,
Yes.
do we know that if we put the language in, that it could be substituted for a PE credit, do we know that we're covering every possible group that would earn letters?
Well, I think, so you said another part, right, that you had some language to make it optional. Do you want to include that here, or do you want a second amendment? You want to just completely amend it at one time, or do you want a
Sure,
second
that's probably a
amendment?
better idea. So
Okay.
then it could also, following that would be, this is optional for other fine arts programs.
So then we'll go back and,
Just to give a little background on this amendment part, part of the reason I'm saying that is because Dr. Horrell gave me some more information where he listed the programs that had at some point in history submitted some criteria for a letter. And then he gave me a list of programs that had never purchased any to his knowledge. Now, that doesn't mean that it's possible an SSO might have purchased it, but they had not purchased it from the school account. And so those were a lot of the fine arts. So I don't want to hold them as a mandate, since they may have put in some criteria, but then decided that it was not something they desired to purchase these letters. And so I was leaving it optional for those fine arts programs that were not
essentially like a
Yeah.
sport, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because those are the ones that primarily, the consistency, like with the banners, just to try to, where if the students on the team, it wouldn't just be like, well, oh, my friend on this team got it, but I didn't get it, and just trying to have more consistency across the board. But like I said, some of the fine arts programs that were not marching band, they had submitted criteria, but then they hadn't actually, it didn't look like they had made any purchases. So again, it would be optional for them. They could certainly do it or not do it. But the programs that were considered sports, which is what you often think of with a letterman, the sports programs, the cheerleading programs that, again, there were some hit or miss. So I was trying to not penalize programs that may not want to do it, but leaving it optional if they did want to do it, but trying to be consistent across the sports.
So to go back to the discussion, to earn a varsity letter in a school-sponsored activity that can substitute for, say it again,
A PE credit.
a PE credit, a high school student must meet the following requirements. And then, so is this the point at which it would be appropriate to add, this is optional, or would it be further down?
It might make more sense grammatically, I guess, on number 5 to add that at the end, since it's talking about who's responsible for getting those, that just to add a sentence where this is optional for other fine arts programs.
Okay, so we're on the amendment, the first amendment, to change it to say that it substitutes for a PE credit. Dr. Horrell, will you be able, even after this, to make sure that it covers every sport or that we have, or extracurricular sport, to make sure that language does? Because I know you brought up bowling, and I believe that it does substitute for PE credit, but I don't want to 100% say it because I've read about it, but things have changed. So I just want to make sure that it intends to, so can you check on that post this meeting, but the intent of the board basically, or the intent of Michelle's amendment would be to have anything where any sport, and trying to change the language to also include marching band and cheer, which are kind of a different animal. They're a sport, but they're different, I guess, is the intent of the language. Does that make sense? Is that?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. All right, so any more discussion on that amendment?
Just so I'm clear.
Yes, yes,
This
Mr.
is
Brent.
still just,
Sentence one.
just sentence one, just the PE credit
Yes,
amendment. And that
yes.
would be, and Dr. Harrell, I hate to do this too. I'm used to seeing line numbers when we have a proposed policy amendment, and maybe it's me, but I don't see them on this one, so sure would have been helpful to have been able to say line 4.
I agree, and I apologize.
Okay.
Yep.
So I guess it's line 2. Line 1 and line 2 is where we're at.
Okay,
Is that-
just the one for now.
Yes, that's just the one for now.
I just
So,
wanted the clarification. Thank you.
yes, any more discussion? Yes.
So do we need to use the language of the policy that's the alternate PE credit and then cross-reference it at the bottom? So it's like it's an official thing. You get that
Yes.
half credit for doing a sport instead of taking PE. So we should probably
Yes.
cross-reference those at the bottom?
I agree.
So that, I would assume that would be an administrative item. Is that appropriate?
Yes, we can do that administratively.
Thank you.
All the cross-references are typically done
Okay,
administratively.
thank you. Any more discussion on the amendment? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any opposed? Frog in my throat. All right, so we are back on the main policy with the amendment. So you would like to, Michelle, you discussed a second amendment. So a second amendment you wanted to make down by item number 5?
Yes, it would read, this is optional for other fine arts programs.
So would it be, let me ask this grammatically, Dr. Horrell, would it be appropriate to, or could it be appropriate to say it as a number 6? That these criteria are eligibility or something, or does it need to be with number 5?
Well,
Which one would be clearer?
If Ms. Childs is saying that what is optional is the coach or sponsor being responsible for ensuring that the letters and chevrons are purchased, then
That's what
I think it would go with number 5,
Okay.
I think.
Well, I guess let me ask it differently. So the amendment we just made was that it could apply to orchestra, for example. So, I'm sorry,
I
it
don't
wouldn't
think it
apply
did.
to orchestra.
Correct, right.
So,
Or regular band, for
or
example.
regular band. So is your intent, I guess I'm asking the intent, is your intent to make it optional for those programs?
Yes, because like I said, I was given information from Dr. Hurl when I was asking more about this and making sure I'm, trying to not trip up programs where there might not be a desire to do this. So I was, as far as some fine arts programs that you don't typically think of, a Letterman jacket and letters and that kind of thing. So quite a number of the fine arts that are not marching band had submitted criteria, but then had never purchased letters. So again, they could absolutely purchase letters and chevrons, but it would be optional. It would not be mandatory for the coach or sponsor to purchase those letters or chevrons. That would be an optional thing if they decided that they wanted to do that.
So that's what I'm asking. Would it be appropriate for that to be in number 5 or not? That's what I'm trying to understand. Does that optionality of the fine arts programs make sense in number 5?
I believe that would make sense in number 5. I suppose one way to think about it is that if it's optional, does it need to be included in the policy at all? I mean,
That's fine.
I
I just was trying to be
just
clear. Yeah, no, that's fine.
For clarity, I mean, if it's optional,
Mr. Burnett?
If I could, I think we do need to make a couple of structural modifications to the policy overall as proposed, because it says to earn the letter with the amendment we just made, a high school student must meet the following requirements, and then we have an ordinal list. Well, that ordinal list, number 5, makes no sense because it's not an eligibility requirement. It's a procedure to go along with it. So technically, that doesn't belong in that list. What I would suggest is we make that the next paragraph, and then it would make sense to me, if Ms. Childs would take it as a friendly amendment, to then have a paragraph either above or below that says this policy is also optional for fine arts programs, blah, blah, blah. What I would be afraid of, Dr. Hall, is because now we've put a policy in place that says to earn a varsity letter, and absent the inclusion in that policy, we couldn't award a varsity letter for anything that wasn't included in the policy.
That's fair, yeah.
Yes, Mr.
Just to make a comment on that, and I'm fine with it, but just to note that, the 2 seasons or meet the playing participation requirements for 1 year set by the individual coach or sponsor that have been approved by the school principals. So these programs had already done that. So their requirement could have been 1 year of playing in all. I have no idea what it is, so I'm just making an example. It could have been 1 year of playing in 100% of the orchestra concerts, and then they would have met that. Just like some of the coaches, their requirement was like, at one point soccer was playing 7 varsity games in 1 season. So that was not the 2 years. So just to point out, I do think that what has been turned in often covers what that would be, but I'm not opposed to a friendly amendment to make it clear.
So, well, I'll make the motion for amendment. So that number 5 not be a number 5 and be a paragraph. So that's kind of administrative, but we'll just call it number 5, not be a number 5, and it moved to paragraph. And then adding a paragraph that below that number, prior number 5, that it be, that this policy is also optional for other fine arts programs. And I don't know that we want to spell them out, but we certainly can. If we want to say theater, orchestra.
Would it be appropriate, Madam Chair, to say other fine arts programs as approved by the school admin?
That's fine. So everybody follow what the motion I made? Number 5, taking it out of a 5 and making it a paragraph, and then adding a paragraph underneath to say that it is optional. This policy also apply or is optional for the fine arts programs.
I'd like to respond. I'm just trying to.
All right, so we have a motion. We don't have a second yet. So let me get a second before we, so is there, I made a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
So we have a second now.
Okay.
Now go
Thank
for
you.
it. Sorry, procedure.
I feel like we're making a lot of structural changes here that would require, I understand the intent. I want to make sure if we put it out there, it is clear, it's defined. And right now, I'm unsure of some of the clarity of, and I know that's where these amendments are coming in. I feel like there may be an additional, maybe just more of an opportunity for us to review this and come back to it and clear up some of the confusion.
Well, the good news is we didn't suspend the rules, so it needs 2 readings, so it will not become effective until it has a second reading. So we can get an amended policy with all these things and pass the first reading, and it would not become effective until our November meeting if we voted yes on our November meeting. Does that sound good? Or
I just can't tell you, ultimately, I would prefer to see these spelled out.
Right.
I would spell out the sports, the arts programs to make it as clear as possible.
I'm not opposed if that's the will of the board that on our amended one that Dr. Hall can spell out the sports that this would include.
You got a page full of notes over there. I'll wait. Tell me when you're ready.
I am ready, thank you.
Okay, so right now we have an amendment on the floor to take number 5 out of the requirements and make it its own paragraph, to add the next one to say optional for fine arts. And Mr. Acton requested that we, I guess, amend the amendment perhaps, so would that be appropriate, to list out all the fine arts activities? Is that?
Well, just to clarify, I'm looking, we're alluding to these participation requirements, but they're not spelled out in our policy. And I think if you've got a policy, it should be clearly defined. That would be my friendly recommendation inside this amendment, if you will. We've got some general parameters here that we are building. I think we've just got to build the detail inside.
So just for clarity, you're asking us to list every sport and those that can be substituted for a PE credit that would qualify, and you want each one of their coach participation, which would be different for every single sport. That's what you want listed in the policy.
So for number 2, meet the plan participation requirements for 1 year set by the individual coach or sponsor that have been approved by the school principal. Where will that be listed? How will that be defined? Is that going to be presented to the players in advance? That's the unknown for me. How is that defined?
Okay.
Mr. Burnett?
I absolutely agree with Mr. Acton, and maybe that, again, a consideration if we approve tonight, the amendment to go forward next time, is that have been approved by the school principal and published annually at the beginning of the year, or something similar to that. It's just as a starter. Because I hate moving goalposts.
Yes. So we're still on the amendment for 5 and the fine arts. Did you want to change it to list all the fine arts? And did you want to amend to change all the fine arts, but also go back up to the top and list all the sports? Mr. Acton?
I'm thinking.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, so we're on this amendment. So I guess I can amend my amendment to list all the fine arts. So I will amend my amendment. Mr. Burnett, will you second that?
Yes, ma'am.
So at least we'll have, to list all the fine arts and list the activities that we were just talking about.
When we list the fine arts, we're going to list them as optional.
Yes,
besides the
correct.
marching band.
Correct,
Okay.
correct. Any more discussion on the amendment? All right. All in favor of the amendment, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The amendment passes. Now we're back on the main policy. Mr. Acton, which ones, so you wanted to see some clarity in the language?
So number 2, where it discusses or meet the plan participation requirements for 1 year set by the individual coach or sponsor that have been approved by the school principal.
So you want to make a motion to say, and publish at the beginning of the school year? Is that, or Mr. Burnett, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't want to give credit where credit's due.
Yes, Mr. Burnett.
I don't need any credit. I appreciate that. I agree with it. If need be, I move to amend as we read that first time, to insert on bulleted item 2, after approved by the school principal, comma, and published annually at the beginning of the school year.
All right, I'll second that. All in favor, or any more discussion on that? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, now we're back on the amended policy. I did have a question about number 3. So when it goes from 2 to 3, it doesn't say and or, because not all sports are TSSAA. Is there a problem with having and there after number 2?
I think we're saying meet the equivalent of the TSSAA academic
Okay.
eligibility requirements.
Okay.
So whether or not it's TSSAA, even if it's band, I mean,
Okay,
it sounds like,
yeah.
or marching band, you'd
Yeah.
still have to meet the academic
Okay,
requirements.
I just want to make sure that there wasn't an issue with the and/or situation, because we
I
mentioned
think that's
TDOs.
correct.
Okay,
Yep.
got it. That's the only question I had. All right, are there any more questions about the amended policy? And I think, go ahead, Dr. Hall.
Well,
Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Thomas.
Can we talk about 5? Can we talk about number 5?
Yes, that's now a paragraph.
That's now a paragraph, no longer the paragraph formerly known as number 5.
yes, and
So I am concerned after some information that Dr. Horrell sent us about the cost for SSOs to purchase these letters and these chevrons.
I was amazed at what you told us about the cost for them. And I think we can all agree, our kids raise money, they sell cookie dough and wrapping paper and all sorts of things that nobody really needs, but very kindly buys to support the program. And for a lot of SSOs that are smaller, it is very difficult for them to raise the money. And if we're saying that they have to purchase them, that really gives me pause. To say everybody has to do it and you have to purchase them. I'm thinking about band is a huge amount. Both soccer teams, a huge amount. I'm open to any discussion that you all want to have about the cost.
So I know I saw an estimate, and did you send us a follow-up as to what the company charges? That I don't remember what the company charges. Is it 7, 12?
Yes, I have some, the company charges $12 per letter, and most of these are scaled up to large. If it's smaller amounts, it's fewer. So we were kind of looking at bulk pricing. So I think this is about what it would be. $12 per letter, $2.95 or $3 per chevron. So the estimate we were talking about, if we were to buy in bulk, a bulk situation, we were going to get $500 letters, that'd be $6,000. 1,500 chevrons would be $4,425. That would be for kind of to get everybody started, but there would have to be some annual costs. I will note to your question, I've shared this with Michelle, and I've shared this with several of you. That's one of my, I think, biggest concerns with the policy is that it maybe it's unclear or maybe it is clear who is responsible for the cost. And my concern is anytime that there's an unfunded mandate, is this the board saying you must purchase these even if that's not something the students are interested in or the parents are interested in or the coach is interested in? This is the board, I believe, saying you must come up with this money or you're in violation of board policy. I think that's one of my biggest, I think, concerns with the approach. But
Well, so in today's world, player fees pay for things like uniforms and basketballs and footballs, and and the other, so there's that option. The other concern I have is that there are activities around the school where kids see, this sport or that sport or this activity or that activity, whatever, getting letters and that recognition, where others are like, well, why can't I get it? I appreciate Michelle bringing forward the concern about equity, because some programs have prioritized it and already taken care of it and have a system in place where others don't. And understand, we're all starting out, and I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, because it's been 4 years of building in that. And so I have understanding and patience with that. But now that we're all 4 years, having some structure there feels like it's important, because, kids are out there doing 2 and 3 and 4 things and should get the recognition for out there doing it and doing it at a high level. We bring them in here and recognize them because they went to state, but, some of them may want to get a letter, whatever, and if they're program or whatever doesn't do that, it just seems, I hate using the word unfair, because that doesn't feel, it just doesn't seem like we're being consistent across the board.
And if I can,
Yes,
Chair,
go ahead.
I think my concern with unfair is if we're going to get in a situation where, to your point, we raise, you do have fees for uniforms and balls and, referees, and they pay for things that the whole program has to have. In this case, we'd possibly be asking every student to pay a fee for an award that only some students will get. And I also think it's us making the decision that the letter is the award that maybe the students want. I know some programs give an award to every single student, and maybe each one has a different title, and they may have a plaque or something that they do instead of the letters. I know I did talk, and I shared, again, this with Ms. Childs as well. From what I understand from 2 different reps, it is fairly inconsistent in I won't say every school, but in a lot of schools. It's not unusual that this program believes in letters and gives letters and chevrons, and this one, and in some cases, it's football and baseball. They just don't. The coach isn't into it. That's not how they want to recognize students. The players aren't asking for it. The parents don't seem to mind, and it's just, it does tend to vary. How do we recognize athletic effort program by program? And I'll share this and then I'll stop. And this is just for context. Again, I shared this with Michelle. I did take a survey of the other superintendents in Tennessee just to see, is there a model policy out there? Does anybody know that? It's possible that somebody just didn't respond. To my knowledge, there is no board policy on athletic letters in Tennessee. At least nobody responded. But in the responses that I did get, most of them said, we let the schools handle that, and some of them said even more specifically, it's sport by sport at the school. So that's, again, just context on that.
Ms. Stroud?
Just as far as expense, I just wanted to point out, we just went through this for the first time ever, having seniors, which is great, in the first season, and doing the banners. And, each team, it was pretty consistent. I think all of the fall sports participated in that. It wasn't just, football's going to hang a banner, and then, this smaller sport's not going to be able to do that. And, basically each coach got to figure out what that looked like, And so for some of them, the boosters did take that cost. They also had the option, and again, some of these, if it came out of their school funds, some of these kids are not going to be playing that sport their senior year, but yet their fees went towards something like that. Now, we can also, if the programs need it, we can approve a fee that would be, up to $12, because the most it's going to cost is $12. Some of the students will cost $3, and some will be $0, because they will not. It is an award, and they will not all earn it. So on average, we could figure out an average or whatever, and determine that, like we did the banners, because that was another thing. If if they didn't have an SSO, or the SSO didn't have the money or desire to do it, and the coach didn't have enough money or sponsor, then they basically passed it along to the student. And I think, what was the fee on that? I think it was like $100 or something,
75 or 100.
or 75 or 100, which is way more than what this was. But that was an option that could be done. I think a lot of the expense comes from some of the students have played and earned varsity and letters for up to 4 years, and so it's just the backlog of the expense. I think going forward, it's going to be, $0, $3, some $12 ones. So I just wanted to kind of put that in frame of reference with the banners.
Is there, so I'm just wondering, I assume this is the vendor we've gone with, and that's fine. I didn't know if there was, I don't want to say cheaper options out there, maybe less expensive options out there. If $12 is too much and $3 is too much, is there, or is it just because it's specialized, this is the vendor?
That's a great question. I didn't go comparing prices, but I know that when the letter jacket vendor was selected, there were multiple bids solicited. And as again, Ms. Childs and I discussed, they do put a lot of effort in designing the letter jacket and, designing even the patch. It's the LP, but there's still some design involved. So you're basically signing a contract that says we're going to be the exclusive provider of this, just as you do with the yearbook or, senior photos or things like that. So certainly it's not a forever contract, but it would be difficult to kind of price shop every year. That is something else that's a little bit unusual about this policy, is that it's essentially, it's the board passing a policy that says we're going to purchase something from this, this vendor every year. But again, you could switch vendors theoretically. It's not forever.
So another item is, and I know down at the bottom it says there's essentially what Michelle Childs alluded to was backlog. Can you, again, even if we pass this tonight, it's not effective because we need a second reading. Can you get the board an estimate of what the backlog would be, and then what an average would be moving forward?
Mm-hmm. Of course.
So what's the dollar amount associated with backlog? Because I understand, a big one-time expense may be a lot for one program, but then can you also tell us what the average for each, there's 4 or 12 or whatever, is it $100 for each program or this program, can you give us that kind of both a backlog and a forward-looking dollar amount separately?
I can. I think to get the dollar amount, because in terms of backlog, some programs have
Yes,
made this purchase,
yes,
so we
yes.
have to get a handle on that
Yes.
as well. So I think we want the backlog of unpurchased as well as the purchased to get a
Right.
total of what it would be if all these programs were getting letters and chevrons for
Right.
each of the years. Now, we'll note that this one's a little sticky because when the coaches were essentially asked, they were requested early on in terms of the preparing for the high school to put together their own criteria. And Ms. Martin worked with them and Mr. Duncan worked with them to do that. They had the initial criteria at 3 years. The board requested when you took up the policy and didn't approve it, that each of those programs lower that eligibility to 2 years. So it make it
But weren't there programs that were awarding it before 3 years? They were awarding it 1 year, 2 years based on the alternate?
There were, but I mean,
So it wasn't just 3 years. It was 3 years or you were played in so many
Correct.
quarters or something like that.
correct, but it.
Right,
but
or
it-
so many minutes.
It improves, it increases the backlog on the front
Right,
end,
right.
right? Because you might have had one more year for the students that didn't earn it under the alternate. They're going to earn it faster. So anyway, there's some math in there, but I think we can figure it out.
So, Madam Chair,
Yes.
so how are the banners handled? We were talking about banners, and I do not know the answer to that. How are they handled by sport? Are they in the fees? I have no idea.
So each coach, and I'm sorry, can I speak to that? I just know from me working on it.
I have no idea.
Okay, so I know from working on it.
Blissfully, I have no idea how it
So
happened. I only know
it-
that DJ helped with the design.
Yes,
but that's-
DJ has been awesome.
Yeah.
So I'll say that out loud.
Oh, he's not
here.
No,
DJ has been awesome. He left. So it's up to the individual program, either if there's no booster or if the booster doesn't want to handle it or whatever, then the coach can collect a fee to go into that account that from the parents for the not to exceed amount that we approved to cover the cost of the photographer and the printing of the banner, or the booster can cover the cost and do it completely out of their account, or the program, if they have enough money in their account, they can cover it without charging the parent fee. So you have all three of those ways which it can be done. So if the program is sitting on, let's just say, enough money to cover 5 banners or whatever, then they don't have to charge the parents if they have enough to do it within their fees for that year.
Okay.
Or if they, don't have enough, then they can charge the money to recoup the cost of the photographer and the banner printing. And then, or the booster can cover it. So those are
So-
kind of the 3 ways that have happened with fall sports.
So do we think this is going to impact each organization, each SSO, to say, we need to make sure, I know it's only $15, $18, right? A max of what, 21 if the letter and 3 chevrons? So a max of $21 over
4 years?
over a,
Is it 4 years? But based on that, it could be 3 chevrons and a letter.
it
So
could
that's
be a
4
letter as a freshman if that's
Right.
what the organization chooses. So we're talking about 21 possible dollars over the 4-year life of a high schooler, right? So if that is factored into your not to exceed amount, then maybe that's the way to go, to make sure that the not to exceed amount covers
Right.
a maximum $21 investment for a letter and 3 chevrons.
Yeah.
Mr. Acton, I think.
I was going to wait for you to turn around, Madam Chair.
Sorry, Mr. Acton, sorry,
Yes,
I turned
thank
this
you.
way and.
That's fine. Would it be possible just to grant the ability to say, you qualify for one, and then that be the responsibility of the parent/student, to where we remove this unfunded mandate? I'm throwing this out there as an idea, as you're concerned about the costs and something you brought up. Maybe we set up the policy to where these are the qualifying reasons. And then if you want to pay the $12, here it is.
Go ahead, Dr. Hoare.
That would certainly be possible to run that and to provide to the, I mean, we'd have to work with the coaches and have a list. That would be the equivalent of, in the past, when we have won the Top Workplaces Award for the commercial appeal, they send us an email that say, congratulations, you're a top workplace. Would you like to buy a plaque? I mean, we would basically be saying, congratulations, it could even be a certificate. You have lettered. This certificate indicates that you have lettered under these board-approved criteria. Here is the brochure, which I'm sure the vendor would be happy to provide, for which you could purchase.
So essentially, that would be an amendment to the paragraph previously known as 5. Is that accurate?
Yes.
So, Dr. Hoare, does that give you any pause with administering that?
I think there's going to be, frankly, because it's board policy, there's going to be a tremendous amount of administration regardless in terms of coordination between my office and the athletic director and the athletic administrator. So we're going to have to, double check and check again. I think that that makes me personally feel a lot better about passing costs on to the students or to the organizations.
Madam Chair, originally when I went down this road of putting a policy out there, a recommendation of a policy was just having a qualification guideline for the student to meet the lettering policy, and more so just for a resume opportunity as they prepared for college. It was more about that and less about the physical letter and the chevrons. So I do like the idea of having some sort of parameters put in, and if we want to put that burden back onto the financial burden back onto the student or really it's the parent who's paying for it in my household anyway. So that I think would alleviate some of the burden off of the SSO or the coaches. And that's the thought behind it. I guess I need to make a formal amendment request if the chair will accept it.
Yes, certainly. So you're making a motion to amend the paragraph formerly known as 5 to say that, I'm trying to make sure I'm.
Can I make us? Oh,
Yeah, go ahead if
Jeremy,
you've
you
got
may-
wording over
you may
there.
have it.
I'm sorry,
I
Ms. Burnett, did you have some?
I
Yeah.
do. So to further what I think I hear Mr. Acton saying, perhaps it says coach or sponsor is responsible for ensuring the letters or chevrons are recognized on some type of student record, whatever that should say, and then notifying the student and parents of the availability and price to purchase said chevron or letter and or chevrons.
And should that say by the end of the season? Or, yes, by the end of the season?
Timeline.
And then my other question for that would be, if whatever we do here, I don't want to preclude it, because even though I know we're in the type of district we are, we also have students who struggle to pay just to play the sport. So I wouldn't want this to preclude someone else from donating money to buy. I'd hate for that one student to be the only tennis player who couldn't buy, and then they're walking around being the only tennis player who didn't have a letter.
I don't think, if I'm correct, there's nothing that stops anybody from donating to buy for somebody else, right, Dr. Hoare?
It seems to me that if, under Keith's proposal, if the procedure was we're going to generate a list of students who are eligible for letters and chevrons, I think a booster club could say, this is important to us or our team, we're going to purchase letters and chevrons for these folks. If the booster club or the coach or, whoever said, I'm going to recognize them, we're going to state it publicly, or publish it however we say. Here's the catalog if you'd like to buy those things. I think that's what I'm hearing. Yeah, anybody could. If you got a sponsor that said, hey, we're looking for a sponsor to furnish physical letters and chevrons to our players, but certainly there'd be nothing precluding it that I would see.
So is that an appropriate amendment? Everybody follow that? Hold on. So everybody follow that? All right, so we have a motion to amend. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Childs? Yes.
So, the max that one student would generate would be, $21 under this. So it's like, on an average, $5.25 a year. I just have concerns because we have whole teams. I know this because I even looked into, trying to subsidize students that are on free and reduced lunch. And we have some teams where the majority of students are in that boat. And not every sport has a booster club or, so I guess I don't know. For $5 a student, I just hate that it's like, put back on this optional thing because a lot of the programs are making it part of their senior nights and putting it out there. And then it's just like, again, goes back to the inequity of it, where we've managed to figure out a plan with the banners. But and I guess I do have a question. If we did it in this aspect, could we still buy, no matter whoever's paying for it, can we still do the bulk idea where it would be cheaper? Because if we're saying it's going to be, $12 and $3, but then it's like, oh, well, you're ordering directly one individual at a time, and now all of a sudden it's like double in price or something, or costs more, like maybe not double in price, but it costs more because you were quoting us like the bulk prices. But if we're not, if the school's not purchased them in bulk to then, have whoever buys it, whether it's the parent or student or the coach or whatever, I'm just asking, would that still be a bulk buy situation, or did the price just increase per student if we do it where it's the student buying it or parent?
That's a great question. I think the price increased per student if we're not buying in bulk, because I think that was the 100 or more price that I had gone to. The answer really is it just, we'd have to determine who is it that's buying it in bulk. Is it the district? Is it, when you're saying can we, the answer is yes, somebody can, but it has to be an account that's paying for it.
But so under the way Michelle's talking about it, though, that it would be made whole in the long term, meaning it'd be front loading and then basically just passing the cost on to whoever it was that got the chevrons and letters.
Yeah, I think, theoretically, if the board was to do a budget amendment or, dedicate money to buying letters and chevrons for purchase from, individual athletic accounts, they're, yes, then we could buy them up front, and then eventually over time, that money would be reimbursed,
a sinking
theoretically.
fund or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Any more discussion? All right, so we're on the amendment.
Oh, we're on the amendment.
Yes, we're on the amendment.
Yeah,
Sorry.
got you. No, you're right.
So, Dr. Horrell, did you write down that amendment?
Here's what I got.
Okay.
Some of the language was, y'all tell me. The coaches and sponsors are responsible for formally recognizing students who have earned letters or chevrons and giving them the information to purchase a letter and or chevron. I'm not sure that's.
Maybe providing them.
Providing, I like
Yeah.
providing better.
By the end of the season.
Okay.
Or, yes, by the end of the current season or something like that. Because I think that was the intent, or that was part of this.
I agree. Yes, I left that out. Yep. Coaches and sponsors are responsible for formally recognizing students who have earned letters or chevrons and providing the information to purchase a letter and or chevron by the end of the season.
All right, any discussion on that amendment? Paragraph formerly known as 5.
I do have a
Yes,
question.
yes.
Would that amendment preclude a coach from using the fees to purchase it? Because I know some have already done so. So it's not, just to ask that question, it's not saying that the player and parents have to buy it. It's saying that they could buy it if the coach is not paying for it or another entity like the SSO.
Correct.
Just to clarify that.
I read that.
Okay. All right, so all in favor of the amendment, say aye. Aye.
No,
Any opposed? Michelle?
sorry, no.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, motion passes. We are back on the amended policy. So we have some action items from this, Dr. Hoare, right, with cost and finding out how far in arrears things are, and what that cost would bring forward. All right. Any other items Dr. Hoare would need to make sure, any more questions? And certainly, as this is not passed, it will not go into effect tonight, so any more questions or any more thoughts that anybody has, certainly bring them to Dr. Hoare as we move forward.
Can I bring up one more thing that
Yes.
were you about to speak? That I talked to with Michelle as well, and Michelle, I'll let you state, your feeling on this. In talking to the vendors and just checking with other schools, and I think it's important that we clear this up, basically the practice is that these vendors, including ours, when they sell a letter jacket, it comes with a letter. And I think the thinking on that is that having a letter jacket, I know this is maybe kind of mind-blowing, particularly in a more traditional viewing of it, having a letter jacket does not indicate necessarily that you earned a letter. A letter jacket has become a form of spirit wear, and the vendors will come and they will sell the letter jackets, and students, sometimes they say, well, what are you into? And there are hundreds of patches that you can get. Anything, you can get a trap shooting patch, you can get a audio-visual patch, you can get a DECA patch. You can get just about any kind of patch that shows what your interest is. You can just get one that says class of 2026, and but it's still got the letter. It seems like there's certainly been a shift back from the 50s, where most schools are saying the more of these that are out there in the community, the better. You're basically a walking billboard for Lakeland Prep, or for Bartlett, or for Collierville, or Houston, or whoever you are. So with very few exceptions, schools and school systems are not limiting who can purchase a letter jacket. So I would want to, I think maybe we've got that clear, but if it is, right now, we haven't fenced in the ordering form. Students were able to order letter jackets from early on and still can. Grandma can buy a letter jacket for her grandchild and get it to them for Christmas. Their Christmas, they all said Christmas orders are common. So students that don't play any sports and don't qualify for letters in most places buy letter jackets. The vendor I talked to today, again, which was not our vendor, said there were only two very small private schools of his, how many did I say, 28 or 26 or so schools that he works with, that are very strict about who's allowed to buy a letter jacket. So I do want to just make sure we're all clear on that, unless the board decides as a board we're not going to allow students to buy letter jackets. Again, that kind of breaking out that part of, no, you didn't earn a letter, but you can wear a letter jacket that has Lakeland insignia on it, is, I think, important to note.
Chair?
Yes.
So it's also possible, we have a lot of kids who do multiple activities. It's also possible that kids could earn 4 or 5 letters.
Absolutely.
And that child doesn't need more than the one, and that could take the cost down if it's the SSOs that are purchasing it. If there's a way for the organizations to say, congratulations, you qualified, would you like one? Or, is this the Department of Redundancy Department? Do you already have 4 of them? Do you need another one? So in terms of a per student issue, it may be a child letters his freshman year and then keeps lettering in other things, but doesn't want another letter or 17 chevrons or whatever. Because what are you going to do with them, right?
I think, and an alternate to that, and you brought up the letter jacket. So I have seen multiple instances where the letter has taken to go in a shadow box with like a jersey or some memorabilia or picture. So I think, just my personal opinion, having the option for the letter, or having the letter that's not attached to the letter jacket creates an opportunity for different memorabilia
Yep.
that are associated with their
Agreed.
specific sport or
Yes.
whatever. So
Yeah.
that's where, I think doing it this way is, it just,
It's very flexible.
yes, the flexibility, it makes it very flexible.
Yep.
Is that not saying you got to have the letter jacket to get the letter, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
So along those lines, will we take out that sentence after the paragraph formerly known as number 5?
Yeah, there's another paragraph before that, but yes, 'cause about the fine arts.
After the paragraph.
About,
that's yes.
yes, about the fine arts.
After meeting the above criteria, since if letter jacket is more synonymous with spirit wear than it is as an emblem of something you've earned, right? If anybody can purchase one.
Are you making a motion to remove that sentence?
Yes, I don't think it's necessary anymore. Is that okay with you, Michelle, if we?
What?
The sentence, after meeting the above criteria, students will earn their initial letter, needs to stay, right? But then, and will have the opportunity to purchase a letter jacket, that part can go bye-bye, because we're not going to limit letter jacket purchase to just kids who
Oh, yeah,
letter.
I don't care, yeah.
You're good with that? Okay.
All right, so Deborah made a motion to amend the sentence that starts with after meeting the above criteria to remove the second part that says, and will have the opportunity to purchase a letter jacket, and just end after the word initial letter and then period. And Michelle, I assume you're going to make a second since y'all just discussed it.
I'll second.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion on that amendment? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No.
All right, so we have, the ayes have it. So we have an amended policy. I think we still need to vote on the amended policy. Did everybody follow all the amendments? Probably not. All right, Dr. Horrell, will you summarize the amendments? Do you have them? Maybe?
Let me give this a shot.
Just so everybody's clear on what they're voting on.
Well, I think I thought we weren't, so I know per was Keith's a formal amendment that we were going to add? I was just going to add it for the next meeting, the specific recommendations for each sport and the enlisting the sports that can be substituted for PE credits.
We did not make a formal amendment to list each individual sports criteria, so could you give us, I guess, can you give us that before the next one? He did not make a formal amendment to do that, did you? No, he did
Well-
not make a formal amendment.
Discussion.
Okay, all right, then the one that I had that was added, this policy is also optional for the following fine arts programs as approved by the school administration? Yes. I believe that was
after
added.
paragraph number formerly known as 5. Mhm.
Okay. The criteria that have been approved by the school principal and published annually at the beginning of the school year was under number 2. Let's see. And then coaches and sponsors are responsible for formally recognizing students who have earned letters or chevrons and providing the information to purchase a letter and/or chevron by the end of the season. And then we're removing, glad we're doing this because I didn't have the notes there. We're removing the rest of the sentence after students will earn their initial letter.
All right, everybody follow that? Any questions about all the amendments?
Did Mr. Burnett have any, did you have any commentary on that part we're removing? No? Okay.
No, thank you, though.
All right, all in favor of the amended policy, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Dr. Horrell, will you get us an amended copy as soon as you can so that everybody has a chance to give you feedback before the next? Because I know we have a fall break in there too, so.
And I will note, so the next line is in subsequent years, students will receive a chevron. So I think we would need to address that as well because we're not saying anymore that they will receive one.
Will earn.
They will earn.
Yeah, so but didn't we address it the paragraph formerly known as 5? So I think that would be a strike through then, right?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, well, with the board's
Maybe
permission.
Recognition or something.
Yeah, so I think it goes under the.
I will say typically in a 2 reading, if this were a work session, we
Yeah.
just kind of get feedback
Yes.
and then
Yes, we're in a
give it back
business
to you.
meeting,
So
so
that's
it's
kinda
hard.
where- yeah, it is, but,
It's very difficult.
from what I'm hearing is if I go ahead and try to clean that up too, I can present it back to the board.
Yes. I
Okay,
think so.
yep, you got it.
All right,
Okay.
next item.
Let me get back to the agenda here. All right, the next item is discussion action on policy 4.4065, social media.
I'll make a motion to get this item on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Dr. Hoyle, you and I have gone, I've sponsored this, but you and I have gone back and forth about this. I think, I'll just say, the initial policy that I was reviewing and brought forward was Bartlett had a policy on it, so that's kind of where the foundation, and then there was edits. And can you speak to some of the edits, or at least the presentation of the policy that we have before us?
Yes, so we started with, I think, a very strong Bartlett policy. We had our attorney with Chuck Cagle's office, Catherine Kimmel, review it. She made some edits, basically trying to ensure that there was not a chilling effect that was being put on speech. That was a concern, and there's been some legal precedent to that, and basically just making sure that the policy was not overly restrictive in terms of infringing possibly on an employee's right to comment on the news of the day, in particular, on their personal social media pages.
So that is the background of bringing this forward.
And I guess I didn't say, those were the things she took out, but the policy overall is basically intended to ensure that speech, both in the capacity of a Lakeland School System employee, is appropriate and not disruptive, because at the end of the day, that's the goal, is that both public and private speech are not disruptive to the educational environment. So we kind of started with that premise in mind, and then she pulled back anything that she felt like might kind of tiptoe too close to the line on being either restrictive or chilling of an employee's free speech. And it does talk about the kind of situations in which even personal speech might be actionable.
All right, I think initially I sent the Bartlett policy to everyone, just so everybody had a copy of it, and then we have the lawyer revised one that you have in front of you. So Ms. Burnett?
Probably Ms. Thomas is going to say the same thing. Under social media guidelines on page 1, there's an inline reference to other policies.
Yes.
And we typically don't we usually make that
Down at the bottom.
cross-reference toward the bottom?
Yes.
So maybe there's, and I don't know what it would look like, but maybe there's a way to amend that to say, reference those policies generically there, and then have the cross-references at the bottom.
Right.
But
So
I
maybe
like them.
expectations incorporated in other board policies, and then have a footnote 1 and 2, and then list the policies down at the bottom?
So I guess I probably need to make that a formal, but I move to amend under social media guidelines, paragraph 3, by accessing, creating, or contributing to any professional use of social media, Lakeland School System employees agree to abide by all appropriate policies cross-referenced herein at the end, or something, if you all are okay with Ted
Yes.
being administratively
Yes.
crafting that.
Yep.
Yes, it doesn't change the substance of it. It is administrative. Any concern with that administrative edit? Yes, Ms. Thomas?
We're just going to take those 2 policies down to the bottom and cross-reference them, right?
Correct.
You could be very generic there and say, Lakeland School System employees agree to abide by the expectations in the Lakeland School System Policy Manual, because then you cover it all.
Right, right. And then reference any ones down below?
Right.
Right? Okay. So that it doesn't change the substance, it's literally
Correct.
just an administrative. All right.
Right.
Any more discussion? Yes.
It's just an administrative, but I don't know if you need amendment, but Twitter's called X now.
Oh, it is, you're right.
Just so it's not already outdated before it starts.
Yeah.
Yes. X, formerly known as Twitter? I don't know, whatever, however y'all want to know, however y'all want to label it.
I have a question.
Yes.
Down at, near the bottom of page 2, above personal use of social media, second to last sentence, the teacher code of ethics, do we have that in,
Line somewhere?
Yeah.
Or is it just in the employee manual?
right, I was just curious
No,
about
it's,
that.
it's in policy.
It's in policy?
Yeah, so we can cross-reference that.
Okay.
And since you brought up the Twitter X thing, and actually, I think there's ever-changing, like there's Discord now, and there's some other ones, so is it possible, and I really don't know if it's effective to do this, but to say in other social media platforms to have in there so that it's just more encompassing, because I know there's brand new ones that pop up all the time, and I know that we're not probably going to change policy every time there's a new social media platform.
Yep.
Okay. Any objection to that? It doesn't change the real substance of it. Okay. All right.
And I should note as well, this is also a new policy.
Yes,
So-
this is a new policy. Yes, Mr. Burnett.
So, and this is a question, not a suggestion for amendment, but it's something for us to think about over the next month as this policy gets ready for its second reading. At the bottom of page 2, under personal use of social media, employees may not use personal social media to solicit or accept friend requests or other social media connections from, and it continues on page 3, from Lakeland School System enrolled students or former students who continue to be minors. My question around that one is, we are such a small community. There are probably teachers who were friends with parents before they were teachers here, or have been lifelong friends. Are we creating situations where we're not allowing?
This is specifically students.
Yeah, oh, I know, but like, as an illustrative example, I won't call the name out, but there is a specific teacher in the school system that we've been friends with that family.
Yeah.
My family's been friends with that family for longer than I've been on this board. And I have no reservations, either as a school board member or a parent, with that teacher being a friend with my child. I trust that teacher with my child all day. I trust that teacher to take my child on overnight trips for extracurricular activities, to put them on a bus to go to a football game, and so I just want us to consider that. I'm not saying we change or eliminate it. It's just something for us to think about over the next 30 days. Is that a specific thing we want in our policy or not? And I have to think about it. I don't know that I have a place where I live with it right now either.
You're right. We've all seen the news stories about bad situations where it has been a teacher through social media that has coerced a student or done inappropriate things with a student or whatever.
Grooming.
So, yes, grooming. So that's what comes to mind in this section. I understand exactly what you're saying. There are people out there that I trust wholeheartedly with my children, but for protective of the masses, I don't know. Like I can see it both ways.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So certainly something to think about for the next 30 days before it comes forward. Any more discussion? Yes.
If that does remain in there, would there be something, like if that remains and it passes on the next month, would there be some email or something where the staff would be informed that, check all of your social media, that if you are currently friends with any current students, you would need to change that? Because I don't want anybody to get caught in the crosshairs of not understanding a new policy.
Yeah, this would have to be really highlighted because it's fairly, it's much more comprehensive than the previous policy. So there'd have to be some education and expectation, certainly. And I agree, that's a tough one.
Right.
I would tend to think that if I were in that situation, I'd probably just need to go ahead and hit delete and maybe let the parents know, hey, will you share pictures of your daughter with me, that we've been friends with, if something happens.
Well, Madam Chair, it protects all parties.
It does. Yeah.
So we want to protect our kids, but we want to protect our teachers too, and not put them in an uncomfortable situation that.
Somebody makes accusations or
Correct.
whatever.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it protects their livelihood and their career and their
Right.
longevity. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so something to think about over 30 days. All right, any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. So this item, as a reminder, it is not policy until it gets a second reading. So you have the next 30 days to go ahead and give any feedback you have or reread it or any highlights that you want to bring forward to Dr. Horrell. All right, next item.
The next item is a kind of a companion piece, approval to update of policy 4.406, use of the internet.
So I do have a question, Dr. Horrell. Does this need to wait
I
until?
would.
Okay, so we will table this item till next month then?
Yep.
All right, next item.
There are no further items checking on this.
We have one more, sir.
Oh, that was
Yes,
the
we
school fees.
have-
Thank
yeah.
you, thank you. I saw my
School
X there.
fees.
Thank you, Michelle.
Yes,
Michelle
yes.
keeps me in line here.
Yes.
The next item is approval of update to 25-26 school fees list.
I'll make a motion to get this item on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Michelle or Dr. Horrell? I'll let y'all, whichever, y'all can arm wrestle for it.
I mean, I wanted it taken off the consent because I wanted to have some discussion about the one particular fee, the ACT tutoring not to exceed $200. I know I've already spoken with Dr. Horrell about this, and I know they're looking into seeing, if we could get some type of bulk pricing, if actually we could just not charge for it or charge way less. But that is really expensive. I do not feel comfortable with that. I would propose substituting not to exceed $100. And I do understand, and I'll let Dr. Horrell speak on it too, but it's possible that, if they offer this again and they don't have enough, that could be a cost to the district. But I just think I just don't feel comfortable with that fee.
Yeah, just for some context, the particular Jane Ross tutoring session that was basically contracted for our students was basically their pricing structure, just to be transparent, was as $4,200 for up to 50. We actually did not get 42 students. They charged $100 this last time, but didn't get 42 students, was the thought. But all that being said, I agree with the recommendation to lower that to not to exceed $100 for the time being. And I will add to what Michelle has said, because she had asked for this information previously, and I know, Laura, you had a similar response. I have already asked Mr. Gately-Sweat I've done a couple things. I've asked Mr. Adler to get some information on pricing, and asked Mr. Gately-Sweat to basically put in some funds under our budget proposal list that we keep all year so that it can be considered and brought to the board. There are a couple of neighboring districts, and their ACT prep is basically paid for by the general fund of the district. So the question was asked, how come we're paying for it, our parents are paying for it, and some districts aren't? And the answer is because it was built into the general fund budget.
Yes.
How different can these things be incorporated into our ACT prep class to reach more of our kids, and perhaps ones who don't have a problem coming to school every day but do have a problem coming and spending a Saturday? We have, kids are involved in so many things.
Sure.
What sorts of strategies can we incorporate in the ACT prep courses that we are currently not incorporating? That might be something to look at. I think we would reach a lot more kids if we could do some of maybe these more impactful things as a part of the curriculum.
Yeah, that's another thing that was part of the same research, was what are the train the trainer type opportunities where we have experts come in and talk about high leverage strategies to train the teachers on, so that we could spread it that way. Because there are some school systems that don't do the boot camps like that. They kind of do it themselves. They made a maybe preliminary investment in understanding ACT strategies better, and then their teachers and staff kind of implement that. So certainly some different ways to approach it.
So you've made a motion, or you're making a motion to amend it to $100? I'll second.
Not to exceed, yeah.
Not to exceed $100. I'll second. Any discussion? All right, so we're voting on the amendment, just so everybody's clear. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes, so we're now back on the main fee list with the amended ACT to not to exceed $100. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Dr. Horrell, next item.
No further agenda items.
Are there any announcements? I believe there's a community feedback night coming up in October. I'd like to make sure we announce that tonight. I think it's at the end of October. Do you remember the exact date?
Checking this.
I don't have it on my calendar,
I
else
think it's
I'd...
October 28th.
Okay, so it is before we have another meeting. That's okay. I put you on the spot, I'm sorry. I
It
didn't.
is, it's the 28th.
There it is,
from
it's right there.
5:30 to
5:30,
7.
thank you,
Yes.
October 28th,
Okay, so
Tuesday.
October 28th from 5:30 to 7, is that what I heard?
5:30 to 7.
At the high school cafeteria.
In the high school cafeteria, there is a community feedback, strategic planning, long-term planning, things you'd like to see, all the outreach, not just parents at LPS, not just parents at LES, I'm saying that for the camera. It's all the people out there, anybody out in the public. This is your school, this is your school district. Please come and give feedback on where you would like us to see us go over the next 5 years. All right, no more announcements? All right, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?